Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wallenstein back with Civ 5. We left off founding our fourth city, and actually I have gone and renamed all of my cities I have so far. We have Silicopolis. It's named off of Silicon Valley, since this is going to be what I plan to be my huge science city, production city. I figured I'd name it aptly. The rest I've gone with a kind of a Wallenstein theme, with our capital, Constantinople, our port city, Wallingford, because I couldn't think of any other good names for it, and Wallengrad, just because I think Wallengrad might be a bit of a contention with the Arabians to our south. Because at least from what I'm seeing on the map here, that might be their only way of getting to our territory, is through here. And actually, I want to just kind of go over some things I might have not explained in the first few videos. When you're looking to found cities, you want, there's a few things you have to keep in mind. Number one is the resources. So you always want to make sure you have, like, for example, I'll use Wallingford, since it was our second city we founded. It's a port town, so it actually gives us access to the ocean, as well as some isles and unique resources of crab. And it has plenty of food that we can grow. At the later stages of the game, we won't starve. And it has a nice, because we're on plains, or share plains, we have some nice access to production too, and some unique resources. And the other thing you want to keep in mind too is having a defensive kind of position. Now, Wallingford is not a very good example. I mean, we can kind of funnel enemy units down this way and kind of have a block that forces them down here. There's really not much else other than this river here that we can kind of put ranged units behind. Wallengrad is probably a better example, because we're right next to a lake. We have forests to our south, and a river that kind of meanders through down to our south as well. And this is a good position because we have this walled, and if the Arabs do decide to attack, they have two choices really. They have to go through here, and really their option of moving quickly is to go through this little open plain area. Otherwise the forest here will slow down their movement. Or they have to meander all the way over here, through rivers, through forests, through hills, over this river again to get even within striking distance of Wallengrad. Now, in the meantime, I can have my city, as well as any ranged units, pick them off as they try to go through. So this is not the best defensive position I would like, but it's definitely better than nothing, I think. Better examples would be mountains. So say if Constantinople, I almost said it wrong. If Constantinople was, say, right here, or even right here, you could actually do a very good job funneling enemy units if they were to come up through the south here, say, for example, or even up through here, of funneling them through this little pass here between the mountains, or coming around here. All in the meantime, again, our city being kind of in a nice defensible position that we can start picking off units as they're coming around this bend or coming around here. The north isn't a good example. It's nice and open, but they're just some of the things you want to keep in mind. Now, say, for example, here in Silicopolis, I'm going to be pronouncing my own cities wrong. Doesn't have a lot of production, but it definitely is enough, I think. And once we start building some production type of buildings in here, it'll help offset the food. Now, once we've found a university in Silicopolis, all of these tiles with jungles, will start producing science as well. So that's why I'm hoping this is kind of being my science output machine. Now, we have a bit of a task ahead of ourselves. I want to, going forward in this episode, to explore a little bit further up north here, see if there's any other civilizations or city-states that we haven't made contact with yet, and kind of get a grasp of who my neighbors might be up in this area, if I have any at all. Potentially taking out this barbarian camp and kind of discovering down here just to verify that it's not connected at all to this landmass here. Because if it is, then that gives the Arabs an opportunity to kind of come up through here and go within striking distance of our capital. And even settle here, which is very likely. I'm hoping if this is cut off, that this will kind of be left alone until later in the game when the AI, at least in the vanilla game, tends to go pretty crazy settling cities, and they'll settle just about anywhere. So it's going to be very likely a late game that this area, if I do not occupy it myself, will become occupied by a rival civilization. So that being said, take that yield icon off, leave the resource icons on, and we will continue moving forward. Now we have, I believe, do we have libraries? No, we don't have libraries. I have to keep in mind that I do want to build the National College, which, take a look. We are tech-wise, National College, we have it already, so we can go ahead and build it, I think, fairly quickly. And one thing about this mod too, that's very nice, is it grays out whatever world wonders and national wonders have been built already. So it's kind of a nice way to, as you're planning your techs, so say for example, we were still early in the game, we kind of just are entering the classical era. I wouldn't be wise to rush and try and get drama and poetry at this point, because you see all the bonuses are grayed out. Now obviously if I want to get philosophy and currency, that'd be one thing, but if I was getting drama and poetry to get the Parthenon, Oracle, and National Epic's my own, but that's fine, but the Oracle and the Parthenon, it gives me a nice indication that, well, someone has already found this, so it's not really worth it if that's the reason you're looking to research it. And I completely forgot what we were doing. Okay, so we'll go with the National College. I am researching bronze working. I'll be researching horseback riding so we can get up to currency, and we can start building some markets and mints in some of our cities to increase our gold production. It's not terrible, but I'd like to get a little more stable. I mean, we have plenty of gold at least to survive for the next few turns, or probably the next 20 turns or so.
تعال دعنا نتاجر.
Ah, yes, and you probably noticed I actually turned the audio back on for the voice audio because I had thought it to mean that the narrator would be solely the narrator that went off, but we're not going to show you where our capital is just yet. Harun al-Rashid. Not until you show that you're a little friendly towards us and that your intentions are good. Oh, the other thing I might have forgot to mention is with Silicopolis, it's not, I mean, it is a fairly good defensible position because I have jungle here, which slows any units down, plus rivers. It's surrounded by rivers that will force them to, enemy units, if they do decide to attack, to lose an additional turn if they decide to cross it and attack. So they're just some of the things, again, resource yields and luxury and strategic resources, as well as looking for defensive positions. Defensive, not only defensible for your towns, but defending your empire as well from incursions from other civilizations, like I did here with Wallengrad. I wanted to clog up any potential effort from the Arabians to come through here and start settling near my capital and threatening my capital, should it eventually, at some point later in the game, come to war. What else do I want to build? Do I want to build a Writers Guild? Sure, why not? It's going to take 2 turns. We don't need the happiness yet. But I will build the library just so I can build the National College and get it out as soon as possible. We'll start taking out. Since we have a kind of a small navy, we'll start maybe exploring as we take out some of the barbarian pirates. Build you guys up. And we'll send you off to Constantinople. I am going to butcher these names. So we're going to fortify, heal up. All in the meanwhile, looking to make sure that our production, we're focusing on production in all of our cities. We should be fine. I think we're looking pretty good. Increase that to a pen. Maybe we'll build another worker once we finish the library in Wallingford. Or maybe Constantinople will do. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll decide. I'll start exploring a bit. Fortify them. Actually, we can upgrade them too. To a spearman. Excellent. Now we did lose another one of our barbarian units, I think, last episode, which is fine. I mean, they did their duty. Should hopefully be able to upgrade our archers soon. Theater, or do we want... We're okay on happiness. Culture, we're fine. Maybe a smith, that's what we'll do. The sooner we build smiths, the better off we'll be in the long run. Keep our archers there for now until our spearmen get up front. How many turns we have left? I think we'll build a worker here, maybe. I mean, now we'll build it in Wallingford. So I want to start building up Wallingford as well, and potentially start moving. Or should I do it? Yeah, they're defended, so you know what? That's what I'll do. I'll build it in Silicopolis, so I can start utilizing some of my production tiles. Where's my long drive? Trust to keep out lifestyle, which is concerned about grazing the land. Yeah, let's do an open range. Utilize as much production as we can, because we'll be fine food-wise, I think. Go and build our library here. So they have crossbows already. So how far are they on the tech tree then? Oh my god, they're in the medieval era already. Oof. That might cause some issues then. I can't believe we're that far behind. Tech-wise. Maybe this definitely has stepped up their game. I think the mod. So what we can do is start building farmland here. Move our spearmen up front. And have them heal up next turn. And then maybe, hopefully, take out this barbarian camp down here. Okay. So should we go theology? No, I don't think so. Let's get mathematics. And maybe engineering. about currency? Let's do that. And then engineering. That sounds good. Okay, so this is open to the sea, which is perfect because we can, hopefully, now see, they found like another city, Basra, and they will start, I think, growing towards Wallengrad, and that might be pretentious.
Assalamu alaikum.
Now see, one thing to look for, at least for single player, I mean, multiplayer is going to be a completely different story, but single player, the best way to tell if a faction is getting ready to attack or is very friendly with you, you kind of hover over their stance. Now neutral, we can obviously tell the neutral they don't hate us or love us, but if you hover over neutral here for Harun al-Rashid, they covet lands that you currently own. Now this is in red, that's a negative thing. That means that's something that affects our relationship negatively. And the way to tell how bad it is this is actually filled in. There are filled in colors, and then there are kind of grayed out colors. Now, I think the first couple turns this was grayed out, which means it was a minor negative outcome that they weren't too concerned about it. They kind of didn't like it, but I'm not sure really how diplomacy, like if it's a number-based game, but since this is filled in now, this is definitely a major negative influence that they have with us right now, and it can grow over time if we say continue either expanding down here closer to where he wants, potentially expanding here where there's a luxury resource that he might want, and just some other things. Now again, this is going for a single player AI game and not multiplayer. Multiplayer, obviously, human beings are much more manipulative and secretive than the AI would be. So we should be able to upgrade our warriors soon, I would think. Because they're fully healed. Move them there. We'll have math in 3 turns. How much science are we producing now, actually? I want to find that out. Defend. What would Constantinople want? Should we do another scout? We can do a circus. It doesn't cost us anything. It gives us +2 happiness. Let's build a smith here as well. Alright, so we kind of see what they have over here. It's basically Mecca has that entire area. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that more than 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, so this is about to be as far as they could go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I just was curious if maybe the mod expanded that out to maybe 5 or 6 tiles, but it doesn't look like it. Constantinople, there. Lucky one there. Usually the first, up to the first 100 turns, you want to focus solely on production. If you're pursuing this 3 or 4 city strategy with tradition, because that way you can basically, with your new cities you found, catch up relatively quickly with your capital in the terms of what buildings you currently have in there. Now it will take us a little while with Silicopolis to reach that, but hopefully if we start, population starts increasing, we can start changing that and having that grow as well. You know what? Maybe I will queue up a scout. Queue up a scout after my worker in Wallingford. Go back to sleep. Then in 2 turns we can upgrade our archers to composite bowmen, and then we can looks like the Arabians did us a favor. Took them out. I'll look kindly upon that in the future, maybe. We're still good. I don't know why they have them still sitting there. We'll maybe try to explore the coast up here. I'm not too concerned what's down here, because I know the Arabians are down there, so I'm not that interested. In fact, maybe instead of having them build down here, we can have move our worker up. Oh, we didn't build that yet, did we? Maybe we should stay there and build a camp there. Mathematics. We have a policy we can found, and we will start upgrading to composite bowmen, and we should be pretty good. Yeah, we'll do a barracks. It's always good to have a barracks, at least a barracks in every city. Especially if war comes. Let's do oligarchy. Let's have Constantinople start to grow. Start moving this worker up to Silicopolis. Great profit, excellent. You can found a religion. Hopefully if there's any left. Use up our last turn attacking these guys. Bringing them up a bit. We can, if we wanted to, move forward. Yes, and take them out. Start getting a little more brazen in our attacks here. Attack now. We'll probably have to move here. Send them in front. We found a religion, hopefully. That's fine. So we'll find Eastern Orthodoxy, Protestantism. I'm trying to think of maybe one I can use cleverly with my Wallenstein nomenclature. I don't think so. Shikism. Well, let's do Orthodoxy. Okay, Tithe is here. Tithe is a very good one to always use because it gets +1 gold for every 4 followers of this religion, period, no matter whether it's in your cities, city-states, or other civilizations. So we're definitely going with Tithe. And since we're going science, we definitely want to go with monasteries, I think. Or do we want to go with religious community? I think we'll go with monasteries because these get to be taken up pretty quickly. I'm not sure that science can build monasteries with faith. That's changed, I think. I'm not sure what that means. Unless it's telling me it's a science-based thing, which I think what we'll do. So see, monasteries is very good. Like I said, they take up... there's about 2 or 3 other different religious buildings in this tier you can pick that usually get taken very quickly, especially by human players. So since this is here, we're going to take it. I'm going to hope maybe when we found another prophet that religious community will still be there, because that's probably the next best one here. Tourism's kind of junk. I really don't use tourism that much except very late in the game. Aestheticism's okay. Healing conversion, that's a different one I think for the mod, which is interesting. Convert adjacent barbarian units to this civilization. That's almost like in the older games where you could convert units. But we'll go with monasteries just because it's there and we're going to take it before someone else does. Actually, I want to name it. What do we want to call it? Let's see. Something creative. Wallism. That works. Okay, so now that we have enough +5, we'll do a monastery. Or do we want to do... We want to save for a great prophet. We'll do save for a great prophet for now. And if it's going to take a while, maybe we'll buy a monastery in Constantinople. So the Arabs have taken care of the pesky coastal raiders. Barbarians are definitely much more aggressive in this game with the mod. So we should be able to take out this camp. Actually, maybe have to pull back. We might lose them actually to the pirates. I think where we last left off, if I remember, this is the strategic view. I don't like using it that much just to kind of get a overview gander. There's some people I know that like to play completely in this mode, which is I find bizarre and ridiculous. To me, it's just like looking at an Excel spreadsheet and trying to play. But I think if I recall, I wanted to, when we last left off last episode, I wanted to maybe look at a city up here to get the coral, the Great Barrier Reef bonus, potentially. So it doesn't... we might be able to get it if we settle here. But I want to explore maybe a bit further first. No, I don't want to get too close. I'll pull back. Start building up the rest of our unique buildings. Our scout will be done in one turn.
دعنا نتاجر.
You have a lot. He has crab, but we're gonna have crab shortly as well. So I don't want to trade ivory for that. Um...
حسنا.
Sure, maybe that'll pacify him a bit. No. Oh, God. Did lose it. Very quickly build up a... do a horseman? Yeah, let's. We can cover ground pretty quickly. And we can upgrade it later to the Polish unique unit, the Winged Hussar, I think, if I remember correctly. But we'll leave them there. We can't move them. Our scout is done, which means we'll do a smith next. Increase our production even further, and we'll start upgrading our areas around the capital as well. We can upgrade to a spearman. Excellent. So I can actually maybe take out both of these camps. Okay. It's not looking bad, actually. There's grassland, forest. We could potentially settle here. And that will give us a nice bonus in everything, just about. At the same time, though, I don't want to necessarily expose myself with another naval port. Unless I absolutely have to. It is tempting. It's very tempting to get these two. And possibly more. I mean, it has crab. Take them out. Right, what do we want to build? Let's start building markets. Just as I thought. We'll start whittling them down. We'll have horses in next turn anyway. Unit needs orders. Now, these guys. Let's move them there, so they're nice and protected. And in 5 turns we'll have a library and be able to build a national college, so that should be good. Church of the Lalabella. Do I want to build that? Yeah, we'll get missionaries at some point. Let's try and go for it. Because we had a barracks there, we can easily upgrade them as well. So not really that much up here. We're starting to get into the desert, it looks like. I mean, there's definitely plenty of room to expand up north if we want to. The question would be whether we want more port towns and have ourselves exposed more to late game frigates and late game frigates and battleships, nuclear submarines as well. Hopefully, in the next few turns, we'll be able to take out the barbarian camps near Silicopolis. Turn. And so hopefully once we take this camp out, start exploring south down here. We can actually move an extra turn. Ship back. Not too much. We can't build one yet. That's fine. What we'll start doing is building this area up into a farmland. And I think we'll leave it there for now. Not too much going on strategy-wise, just kind of reiterating what I did last game. Still focusing on production. Still going for the national colleges. We're at peace right now. Now, if we were to have, like the Arabians were to declare war against us, then I would probably switch all out to military, especially here, and start researching military techs. And while we're here, I think we'll just do that so we can start building lumbers. But I think that's really it for this episode. Not too much going on. Focusing, I think, in the next few turns building markets. The rest of my cities, that'll keep my gold production well, because it is starting to fall as we're building more military units and more buildings in our cities. And then maybe next episode I'll go in a little more detail about the tradition strategy. So thanks all for watching, and I will see you all next time.